All right, this is take two, you guys. Doing the first one. My daughter was crying all crazy, and I was just doing a lot of running around. But yeah, this is gonna be the in-depth explanation of why I operate in pattern mode. I guess the pros. If you guys can think of some cons, go ahead and drop them in the I guess in the in the comment section. If you guys want me to explain anything else in detail, drop it in the comment section. But yeah, this is going to be the in-depth, the kind of detailed, not totally in-depth, but the detailed description of why I work in pattern mode. In the background, you're hearing my source sample. Very, very popular artist, very, very popular song, very popular record, not hard to find. Another dollar bin pickup. But I'm gonna show you how I take something that's kind of slow like this, like a ballad, and basically bring it up to speed and turn it into a real hip hop head nodder. You know, that's what I go for a lot. You feel what I'm saying? And excuse me. Part of the reason before we even get started, while we listen to this, part of the reason why I even work in pattern mode is that I don't loop really. I tend to chop things up. I micro chop and piece it back together. You probably heard a choppy bit right there. I tend to micro chop and piece it back together. And before I start making a beat, I don't have an idea about what it's going to sound like. The way I pick my sample is I'm listening to a record and I'm saying, ooh, I like that part. Ooh, I like that part. Ooh, I like that part. I know it's all good stuff that I could possibly use, but I don't know in which capacity I'm going to use it before I get down to the nuts and bolts of it. And that's why I use pattern mode. Okay? Like I normally operate after I process all my individual samples individually. They might get resampled a couple times, not onto each other, but resampled with the isolator on it or resampled with the filter on it just to achieve a sound that I'm going for the pad, right? All right, so I chopped up some samples from that ballad we was listening to earlier, some drums, another sample from the ballad, some drums. I normally use a couple different drums every time I make a beat, and I have my stock drums in my internal bank, but we work on the card when we're working on a new beat, and I just keep stock sounds in my internal bank. That's basically how I do that. But okay, when I said I like this part, I like that part, I like that part, I like that part, and that's all while the record was just running. I'm just choosing different pieces. I sampled it all to one pad. Earlier, I had about 2 minutes of the song sampled. 2 minutes of the original song sampled to pad number one, and I just went through. I let the pad play out and just went through it and said, "Hey, I like this piece. I like that piece. I like that piece." I heard early on that piece could be a turnaround to help me get from beat four to beat one. Um, when I work in pattern mode, what I tend to do is I tend to make two bar patterns out of whatever chop loop that I created. So I basically created this. So I made three different variations basically of that. All right, and what I'll do is I'll make two bar loops. Let's see what one looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and hit record so you can just see the metronome clicking off. I don't use quantize either, guys. If I do quantize anything, it'll just be what falls on beat one, just to give me a reference point for the rest of the two bars. So let's look. Let's take a look. Oops, I did something wrong there. Where are my patterns? Okay, my patterns are there. Let's take a look. Sorry about that. All right, so if you notice, my metronome's moving at a good speed. I think what I have it at 82 BPMs, but nothing else is quantized. Everything's a little bit later then the metronome, creating a backbeat for myself. But that's one pattern. And I have that one pattern, and now since it's assigned to pad 1, that pattern, I can come back to it anytime I want to come back to it. You dig? Turn some of that noise down. I could come back to it anytime I want to come back to it. So I go create another pattern. And a lot of the benefit of creating the pattern is that while it's recording, when I hit pattern and record, I could do something like lay my instruments down first in one pass, come back, and then lay my snares and my hats. And this is all while it's overdubbing. I don't have to stop to do this. So I don't have to resample with snare or resample or be hitting like I've seen guys on YouTube using their SP, and some groups I'm in on Facebook, and they're like all like playing stuff at one time, which is cool. They're doing like stuff like, whatever. I really don't work like that. I'm not really trying to finger drum everything out. I'm trying to build it in layers. And that's why I say that this method is very similar to using a bigger machine, something with a sequencer, like an MPC 2000, MPC 60, SP1200. I've heard the SP303 being referred to as the poor man's SP1200. Well, I'm definitely one of those poor people. So you could go ahead and donate to the link that's about to pop up on the bottom right now. Support the wave, most definitely. Support the butter. If you like this content I'm bringing you, want me to bring you more, you like the content I've brought you in the past, and you would like to bring me to bring you more, help on out. I'm trying to get an SP404. I would love to dig in that machine and give you guys dope workarounds and tips with that too. But okay, so moving on. So I basically I build my pattern in layers and passes. I'll put down my instrument first. Then I may come over and put a kick and a snare. And this is all while it's overdubbing. It's overdubbing now. And if I need to delete something I did wrong, you can hold down delete while it's recording and hold down that said pad, and it'll delete it up out of there for you. So that's beautiful. So what I'll do is, you can do as many bars as you want to in the pattern. You can do a 2-bar pattern, you can do a 1-bar pattern, a 4-bar pattern. What I like to do is I make tons of 2-bar patterns. On this one, the song really didn't call for it. On some songs, I make 6 2-bar patterns or 7 2-bar patterns, or make 6 2-bar patterns and 1-bar pattern as just a turnaround to take me back to the one somewhere or something like that. So I made 3 on here because that's what the song kind of called for. I put some little vocal chops in there. That always helps. That pad right there is a variant of this chord. I don't know if you can tell they sound alike. So what I did is I found another part of the song to sample it just to make a variation. So when played back to back, you can give it some variation and people don't get bored. Check it out. Basically the same pattern, watch. Little bit of variation. But in pattern mode, I can decide when I want to switch to it. I'm basically, my hand is the sequencer in pattern mode. In this pattern mode too, like I explained in the video, the incredible video that I did with Jay Felt, very sick beat, shout out to him. Now we can use the gate mutes and little tricky stuff while we're playing. Like how I just gate muted pad 5. Check it out again. If you want to know how I did that, check out the video. I'm gonna drop the description beneath. But yeah, in this pattern mode, I get a lot of freedom. I get a lot of freedom in the pattern mode.
Everybody want to be a bad man, them crazy.
yeah, just basically you get a lot more freedom in pattern mode when all your drums, all your instruments are individual. I'm not sampling, so I had one of my younger friends. He saw what I was doing one day and said, "Hey man, you're playing that like an instrument," and yeah, I guess I am. I guess I am. Not to not to pat my own back, but I guess I am. Since I'm not sampling, the tempo of that was. But we just brought it up because the chops are so small. Go check out the micro chopping video that I put out if you want to see, a really focusing on how I did that. But yeah, just speed it up. As, as, as. It's easy to speed it up. I didn't speed up the speed, didn't speed up the pitch. I sped up the speed in which my fingers did the walking. All right, and just a quick recap. I quantized just the first beat of the first bar to give me a frame of reference, guys, so I wouldn't be totally off a beat. So when I switch to the next pattern, it could drop on one. And sometimes they're not always perfect, but just so I could drop one on one. All right. Yeah. So, chopped on the first on a. I mean, excuse me. I quantized the one so I could drop my pattern on the one. Boom. That's pretty straightforward. I built the pattern in layers. Let's say I did the instruments first. I probably did a kick and a snare together and did some hi-hats or whatever else. In that pattern mode, now that I'm recording, now that you are basically the sequencer and you're recording to your DAW, you're recording to your tape player, recording to your CD burner, whatever you're recording to your VHS if you're really cool. Now you can basically run through your patterns, stop the pattern with cancel, trigger another sample, go in solo mode and just play the notes out for a bit and then go back in the pattern if you like. You understand what I'm saying? Not necessarily solo mode, but you could play individual pads by yourself and then hop right back into the pattern. This creates a lot of different live automation that you could do just based on how you're feeling. So yeah, definitely subscribe, share, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I guess add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm a friendly person. You got any questions? I'll answer your questions, and I'll even make a video for you. Right now, what I have going on is this Patreon page. I'm really trying to get into giving you guys private lessons. I want to get in one-on-one with you guys and give you the nuts and bolts of how it's really going down. We can work out whatever issues that you think you're having, and I can sneak you a lot of little sneak tips that help me make my beats a lot better. All I'm using is a SP303 and a record player. That's it. And the DAW that I'm recording into, and that's doing like minimal work other than just hitting record on it. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure, you guys. If you got any more questions about how I operate in pattern mode, like I said, I make a lot of 2-bar patterns. You can make 4-bar patterns, 1-bar patterns, whatever you want to do. I stack the instruments in layers, and then I use buttons like the cancel, the gate mute, and all of my effects to make things funky while I'm using yourself as the sequencer running through the different patterns that you've created. All right, that makes it really easy to make hook and bar structures. Like, let's say if you're trying to sell the beat to a rapper, sell the beat, or giving the beat away, or just making music just for the love of music. Let's say you are the rapper and you want to make you want to decide where your bars and the verse part and the hook part is going to go when you're pre-hook and all that type of stuff. This makes it kind of easy. I suppose you could do it in the resample mode, but it just seems like you'd be doing a lot of work. It seems like this way I can just make 2 bars, I can make another 2 bars, I can make another 2 bars. And within those patterns, within those 2-bar variations I make, I still have control over my individual kick, my individual snare, my individual instruments. I could always bring up the volume and lower the volume if I wanted to just solo mute them out completely if I wanted to, or use the gate mute like in the video I did with J-Foot. You'll see that in the description. Bang. I know I'm long-winded. I know I got a lot to say. Sorry about that. I just needed to get this video out my system. I promise I'm trying my best to make them better for you. Go ahead and support me, support the butter. Donate something that's going to help to make the videos better. Um, Definitely on our way to a 404. The drums that I used in this video, hey man, I got them straight. I got them straight from Butter Breaks. Butter Breaks. Visit my Bandcamp and pick up that Butter Breaks LP, man. Tons of great drums on there that you could use at your disposal. And it's for the low low. You gotta support stuff when it's for the low low. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out. I'll have a description for this song in my SoundCloud. We're gonna try to make a ritual out of that. Butter. Take it easy. Peace. Lean Lizzie.